Welcome, everybody.
Are we rolling?
We are rolling, sir.
So,
this is Cory.
this is No Cell Radio.
That's right.
Live with our newest addition to our platform, YouTube
videos, baby.
where we will occasionally pop up, and we are going to do. We're going to start off today with the top 5 list.
Yeah, keep it simple.
And that might be, the basis of what we do here. We might just, have random things we want to talk about.
Sure.
Who knows what we're going to do on here, but it's just going to be short little videos.
Yeah.
Just to hold you over bi-weekly.
Right.
I know you can't get enough of us. Plus, this way, you get to see what we look like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if anybody can see. I'm not even sure if I'm actually.
Oh, you can see the smiley face.
So there's a nice smiley face on there. Have a nice day.
There you go. That's a good reference.
As I do not show my face.
No.
I will be
participating
in a different fashion.
Don't turn too much. They might see some of it.
Bi-weekly.
Oh.
What, you can see me?
No, go back a little bit the other way. There you go.
Okay. So, this is this week's. Can you see my chin, or is
No, you're good right now.
So,
all right.
I mean, I'm not like worried to show my face.
Right. It's for the fun. It's for the bit.
It's not like I'm on the run or anything.
Right. Or is he?
So, let's hop right into it.
Yep. And our topic this week, now that we are essentially, I guess you could say, halfway through the year. I love I'm looking at a freaking piece of paper like I'm having a conversation. As we're now halfway through the year, approaching SummerSlam, a great question was brought up, the idea of who has been the biggest disappointments in WWE so far in the year 2017. So myself and Cory have each come up with our top 5 biggest disappointments in the WWE so far in 2017. Now, let us say with this video that we can kind of take this a number of ways. You could take this in ring ability. You could take this in promo work. You could even take this in booking. A lot of my choices have been based kind of on booking, and kind of what they're doing with them. But we have probably different reasons for each one. So, each one of us are going to present our top 5.
So I asked Brent that if you haven't listened to the show last night, Brent, I asked that you put your list together in a somewhat dramatic fashion.
Right.
Don't put the worst one last like you did to me yesterday.
Okay.
Try to mix it up a little bit here.
Sure.
So
I have mine in order.
Oh, you do? You did put it in order.
Yeah. So I have a 5, a 4, 3, 2, and a 1.
So why didn't you do that yesterday?
Because we were having a hoot and a toot,
right on.
And that's how it was.
Okay. So Brent, go ahead and go first.
So are we going to run through my whole list? You want me to run through the whole thing? Or you want to trade back and forth?
Let's trade back and forth.
Okay. So my number 5 is Bray Wyatt.
Okay.
That's number 5 for me. Now you're going to ask yourself, okay, why Bray Wyatt? He did win the WWE Championship in the year 2017, and he did. But that's why I actually mark it as the 5th biggest disappointment. He is a cult leader without a cult. He won the championship. It was a relatively short-lived reign. I think it was maybe, only like 2 months?
Maybe.
And then he dropped it to John Cena. And now he's on Raw. He's having this weird kind of half angle with Seth Rollins, half angle with Finn Balor, and he's almost getting to a point where he's just making nonsense. He's always been a guy that kind of has these rambling promos, but there's always been something to it. And so now it just kind of seems old. It seems stale. I would have loved to have seen him at a really, really lengthy title run, and I think he works best when he has people kind of literally behind him. He's got somebody following him.
So
that's why I put Bray Wyatt as my number 5 biggest disappointment.
Good call. I mean, and it's not his fault at all.
Right.
I think it's stupid he doesn't have a cold. We've always said that.
Right.
He's a cult follower. So, when he sits here and yells, follow the buzzards, but nobody follows him. It's a little dumb.
He's the lone buzzard. So you're number 5.
So funny you bring up Bray Wyatt because my number 5 is Seth Rollins.
Okay.
Arguably could be the most talented guy in ring, maybe next to AJ Styles, maybe right below AJ Styles as far as in ring ability. Was it 2 years ago now when he was in that heel run when he attacked the Shield and he was the champion and he was at the height to me. I mean, he was rolling and he was doing good heel work, good heel promos, really cooking. Switches him over. Now he's a babyface. He comes back. I felt like the Triple H feud fell a little flat, unfortunately. I thought that it was a good feud. a feud that could be really good, but I just felt it kind of fell flat, and I think a lot of that had to do with Seth being hurt and not there.
Yeah.
Not being able to participate much, but I just feel like his 2017 has been a real dud so far, and he's just kind of in a lull right now. And I kind of find myself bored, and I've never thought that about Seth Rollins before. I've always found him very entertaining. I found his promos really entertaining. However, in the last couple months, I'm just not. I've been pretty disappointed with what he's been given as far as work and storyline.
I think it's a really solid number 5. I mean, he's obviously still kind of doing things, but yeah, just kind of a disappointment.
And he's capable at any moment of tearing the house down.
Right. So I like that one. My number 4 is a female on the roster, and I'm going to take number 4, and I'm going to go with Emma. She's talented. She really genuinely is. And I don't think the WWE has ever had a chance to see how truly talented she actually is.
And freaking gorgeous.
She's beautiful. They've been recently promoting this bikini shoot she did online on WWE.com.
I saw that.
And I mean, it's just, she's a beautiful woman. She's incredibly talented. And she had this whole Emelina thing kind of going, which I actually thought could be a really good gimmick, kind of this cocky, arrogant, like mean girl. And all of a sudden she switched back to Emma. They have no idea what to do with her, and I think that's garbage. I think actually she would do really well on SmackDown. You could give her another heel to work with, like another heel to be a potential champion, to feud with Charlotte, to feud with Becky. I would love to see her on SmackDown, but for me, Emma's my number 4. Biggest disappointment so far in 2017.
That's fair, but I kind of like the heel Emma character.
I do too.
I think it could be a good character, but they just kind of let her just kind of fade.
I think Emelina could have been even better,
Maybe,
even those vignettes.
We only got to see one day of it on live TV.
But the vignettes were actually giving her a personality.
Sure. I do I think that there's something to the heel Emma that comes out.
Right.
But they just don't really let her do anything.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of falling flat. So yeah, I agree.
Your number 4.
My number 4, it kind of falls into that same category, except to me, mine is just the whole SmackDown Women's Division. And I'm going to call Naomi specifically out. We've talked about it on the podcast. So it's been a real love-hate thing with me and Naomi. At first, I couldn't stand her and Team Bad, but I always recognized that she had the most talent out of the 3.
Right.
Then she kind of branched off, and she had this little glow gimmick that I thought was pretty cool and was getting a nice little reception. And she showed her athleticism and showed that she had some ability. But I'm sorry, girl cannot cut a promo to save her life.
Right.
It is as bad as I have seen in a long, long time. It's so unnatural. It's cringeworthy every time she tries to do like a dig or a jab or anything like that.
That's funny, Bugs Bunny.
And then I hate, oh God, that was terrible. And then I hate the glow belt, which has nothing to do with her.
Like a toy.
I mean, that's not her doing.
Right. Someone decided to do that.
But I just don't like the whole. It's just it makes the belt look like a toy. I think that she may have been given that role a little earlier than necessary. I mean, maybe be that face that tries to come up and take it from a heel. Let Charlotte carry it. Let Becky carry it. Let those veterans that can carry the title carry it for a while and build that, that upstart who you're trying to get to that level but isn't quite there. So my disappointment has been they gave her that, and to me it's just kind of fallen flat on her face. And frankly, if you look at all these pay-per-view cards, is this like not the 3rd time they've had a women's match that wasn't her wrestling?
Right.
I mean, it's always like, a number 1 contenders match or something like that, and she's never involved. So I don't know if they don't trust her.
Right, they're keeping her off quite a bit.
Like she's just not wrestling much.
It's weird.
It's been a strange title run to me. So I'd give that as my number 4 because I had high hopes for her because I think she's very, very athletic.
Right. Good choice. My number 3, I'm going to keep it, short and simple with this one. I think it's kind of pretty self-evident. I think some people might even have this person at number 1 on there on some lists. Number 3 would be Luke Harper. Here's a guy that, left the Wyatt family. It was supposed to be this, they were kind of going to push, even I think was kind of in the main event picture for a very, very small period of time. Then Eric Rowan came back. He feuded with him very briefly, and now I haven't seen him on TV in weeks.
And he's so good.
Yeah, and so I'm just going to leave it at that. Like, I think it kind of speaks for himself. Incredible disappointment, and it's all booking. It's not him. I think it's just all someone's soured on him, someone's ran cold on him, and he's not getting the chance to shine. And so I think he could be released in the next year or two, which would be a disappointment. But yeah, number 3 for me is Luke Harper.
He's a guy I almost wouldn't be like. I mean, I don't know him or anything, but I wouldn't be surprised if he asked for his release.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, what was it? 4 months ago we were at SmackDown.
Right.
And he was like right in the middle of
the
main event picture.
Yep. He had just broken out of the Wyatts, right?
Yeah. He was just breaking up. Like, he was in a good feud with Randy Bray and him.
Right.
There was an interesting dynamic there. He was involved in the main event. I remember watching and being, this is really interesting. This is cool. And then at the show we were at, he cut a promo on the big screen. I remember me and you specifically looking at each other going, wow.
Yeah.
I had no idea
he was capable. It was a good promo, yeah.
I mean, the guy is capable of really good things. Plus, he's a great in-ring big man.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm not sure what the deal is with Luke Harper.
Right.
I feel like they're just... somebody's sour on him, or they don't know what to do with him, which is amazing to me because, to me, I think he's a big guy. He's probably like, what, 6'6", 6'7",
probably.
like 275.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big man who can fill a nice little beast role.
Right.
To me, I'd rather watch him than freaking Baron Corbin.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, good call.
Yeah, you're number 3, sir.
Number 3 to me... Now I'm trying to maneuver this how I want. So I'm gonna go tag division first.
Okay.
Specifically tag team on SmackDown. I think Raw's kind of bounced back with, they've been given all the opportunities. You got the Revival, who I think, to me personally, and I've thought this the last 2 years, are the best tag team in the world.
Top guys.
I think they're absolutely outstanding. After listening to them on Edge and Christian's podcast, I thought they were even more outstanding because they just get it.
Yeah.
They're just super cool, and they're just great wrestlers.
Right.
And they're an outstanding team. They're old school. I love them. And they live the gimmick. They were talking about you got a thing coming out with the Hardys, and they were out of kayfabe, but then again they kind of weren't, because it was like oh yeah, you got a feud probably coming up with the Hardys, and I think it was Dawson or Dash was like, yeah, it's no flips, just fists. And he goes, Hardys do a lot of flips. We don't like that. And they kind of bridge in and out of it.
Right.
But yeah, I'm a huge fan of those two. I always have been. I love what Cesaro and Sheamus are doing for the first time ever in 9 years that Sheamus has been here.
Right.
I actually enjoy what he's doing. I think he's good. I think they're funny. I think they're incredibly talented, and I think they're just a great tag team. And then on the other side, I think you're struggling with your faces, but you still got your Hardys, and you still got your tweeners. So when you go over to SmackDown, you break up American Alpha, your one true blue face team, other than the New Day.
Yeah.
And you break them up, so gone. So right now you're sitting with New Day and Usos. Granted, Usos right now are maybe the best group working, tag team wise, just as far as character and all kinds of different things. They are killing it right now, and their Revival's been hurt. Usos are killing it. But who are they going to feud? Are they going to feud with New Day forever? Then you're going to throw them in with Breezango, who, at the same time, comedy-wise, is killing it 100%.
Right.
Every time they're on screen, I laugh my butt off. However, are they ever going to be taken seriously as somebody who can take titles? I don't believe that. Yeah. And then where do you go? The Ascension?
So is your disappointment in the tag division?
My disappointment is just the lack of build for it.
Right.
You got great foundations, honestly, both sides. But there's just not much to go off of after your first initial feud. You got Raw at least has a couple different ways they can go with Sheamus. They broke up Enzo and Cass, but they have a different couple ways they can go.
You have the Hardys, the Revival,
you got
Gallows,
Hardys, Revival, Gallows, Anderson. You got all that. SmackDown's stuck because you have New Day and Usos, and after that, nothing's believable. Nothing. Whether the New Day take the titles and feud with the Ascension, that's not believable. I'm sorry, it's stupid. Nothing's ever been done. The Colognes are there, but you don't do anything with them. I'm very disappointed in the SmackDown tag division just because they got talented guys there that just aren't utilized.
Nice. That's a really good choice. It needs some maneuvering for sure. I like that. My number 2 is one we talked about on the podcast last night. He was actually my future endeavor, and that goes to Austin Aries. The man never won a title in his run at WWE. He sniffed at the Cruiserweight title a few times. But again, kind of self-explanatory. He never really did much. He was never given the chance to do much. They threw him right onto 205 Live. They made him a part of that. And I get it. You're trying to build the brand, give some credible names down there for Neville to go after, some names people know while you're building guys like Jack Gallagher, Drew Gulak, Tony Nese, and all those guys. But it was just a huge disappointment that he didn't do more with what he had available and what the talent he possesses. So easy for me choice, number 2, which is surprising. Some people think it'd be number 1, but I have a pretty big shocker for number 1. But number 2, Austin Aries.
Okay.
Your 2.
My 2 right now would be the Universal title.
Oh, not even a person, huh? Just that belt.
I mean, kind of.
No, I know the championship, the build around it. The
whole thing drives me nuts. I don't understand. Like, I love Brock as much as the next guy. He's a spectacle, but it just, to me, it kills the show if your belt's not on ever.
Weekly.
I mean, it's like your champion is there once a month, maybe.
Yeah.
And
sometimes
then
not even that
for 4 months.
Yeah, sometimes not even that. Yeah.
And then you're trying to carry a show based off of an IC title that's completely debunked because of what you're doing. I mean, it's completely irrelevant. As hard as The Miz has tried to revive it, you don't give him much to work off.
Right.
Of.
Credit to him for trying, though.
Yeah, I mean, The Miz is great.
Really
and The Miz has worked his butt off to try and elevate that title.
Yep.
And nothing against The Miz at all. I'm a huge fan of Miz. But the Universal titles, I mean, you're just stuck with the number 1 contender matches, random Strowman versus Reigns matches, IC title matches. These are your main events for your pay-per-views. I'm sorry, that's just not what sells it.
Yep.
And no matter what, even if it's a new world title, the thing that sells pay-per-views and sells the show is the main title.
Yep.
And when Brock's not on there, and not to mention, I just read he's not going to re-sign after WrestleMania. So what are we doing?
Right.
I mean,
well, I heard he might be dropping it at SummerSlam, but that's all again, conjecture.
I mean, but the thing is, like, what are we doing?
Right.
I mean, are we building somebody that can carry that title?
Right.
And Braun, maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, you better start working and building other people up because you're going to lose somebody who's carried the title for like 14 out of the last 26 months or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Who's barely ever there and is just a spectacle. And I love Brock as much as the next guy, but he's a one-off guy.
Right.
He's not a guy that holds your title, carries your show. That's just not what he is.
Right.
And so I'm very disappointed in the whole Universal title, especially when you got guys that, you'd pull it off Owens
to put on Goldberg.
And
then to Brock. Yeah.
Which is just ridiculous to me because it's the first time in forever you've had a guy who will actually carry the title.
Right.
And try to build it and be there every week.
Right.
So I'm pretty disappointed in the Universal title, just overall basis, when you got all these guys that you can try and build up and get on a next level. When you got the guy who's holding it, who's going to be gone in 5 months.
Yeah. Nice choice. Really good choice. Creative choice. I like it.
Sure.
My number 1. This is going to come as a shock to some people here, because I actually really am a big fan of this person. My number 1 disappointment.
Wait. I think it might be the same.
Is it the same person, maybe? We'll have to see.
Should we say it on 3?
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Finn Balor.
Oh,
okay. All right. I'll say what I thought. Okay. My number 1 disappointment is Finn Balor.
Okay.
Finn Balor. Now, before I say anything here, and the internet freaks out at me, I have nothing against Finn Balor. I have everything against how they have brought him back from his injury. He is right now currently embroiled, like I said earlier, in a half feud. He's kind of feuding with Elias Sampson. He's kind of sort of feuding with Bray Wyatt. I love the Bray Wyatt feud because that could potentially lead to a SummerSlam match, and we could see the Demon King. We could see that come back out, which I will say, it's the smartest move they have made is protecting that. You don't want to see that every week.
Right.
It's got to be for select times. We've only seen it once, and I like it.
Bray Wyatt.
I would love to see that. That would be great.
Join Bray Wyatt.
That would be great. But Finn's worth more than the Elias Sampson feud. That feud could be reserved for a Dean Ambrose, for a Seth Rollins, for
But is he elevating Elias Sampson just to play devil's advocate?
I don't know. And maybe it's because I like Finn so much. Here's a guy that won the Universal title, had to give it up, and he's had one match for a number one contendership spot for it. That's it. Everything else he's done has been mid-cards. And it's almost, I don't want to say it's getting old, but it's like, how many times are you going to watch him come out in his leather jacket, flip up his collar, do his little hand thing, sit on the apron? Like how many times are we going to see that happen?
Wow.
How many times are we going to watch Elias Sampson sing in the middle of the ring and then Finn Balor interrupt him? Like,
true.
You know what I mean?
It's very stale.
Like, I love Finn, and Finn is an amazing worker. Finn could be that other guy in the main event scene. I would love to see Joe get the belt and have him and Finn have another feud at the Universal title. We're talking about making a title look relevant,
Mm-hmm.
Have Finn fight for the Intercontinental title. He should be involved in some title picture, not feuding with Elias Sampson. So he's my number one disappointment.
I agree and disagree, because you got to have guys that are going to build other people up.
Sure. That's what Dean Ambrose could be.
I don't so much have a problem with the feud with Elias Sampson as much as I've had a problem with how they have booked the feud.
Maybe that's why I don't like it. Maybe that's maybe it's the
feud
setup
itself.
of it.
I'm perfectly okay with.
Elias isn't bad.
No, he's not at all.
He could be solid.
He could be a solid hand for you, and building him up by having him face somebody like Balor is great. But when you just do the same thing every single week, people lose interest in that. I mean, honestly, it's like I feel like I'm watching Deja Vu, and I accidentally put on last week's episode.
Yeah.
Because they do the same exact thing with those two every week.
The only variance they had the guitar shot, and now they're gonna have that no DQ match.
Like, it's just, it doesn't make sense to me. And like, you have them wrestle all the freaking time.
Yep.
I don't get that. That's like, that's not how, watching wrestling back in the day. That's not how they build feuds.
Right.
I mean,
so that's why he's my number one.
Okay.
So you said Dean Ambrose.
I said Dean Ambrose,
which I think is a very solid pick too. Is it kind of similar to Seth Rollins? Like, give us your kind of thought on why you would put him at the number one spot. Why is he the biggest disappointment?
I used to love Dean Ambrose.
Yeah.
Huge. I was a big fan. And again, I don't know if this is so much as him as it just the way he's being used. Like,
Happy Face has some hiccups over there.
Huh?
Happy Face got some hiccups over there.
Yeah. Excuse me. So he, this feud with the Miz, I was excited when they brought that back because I like Miz. I think Miz is very capable of bringing the good out of somebody. To me, and people have been saying this for years, it's not a new thought. But if you're going to be the lunatic fringe, you got to let him just go nuts. Let him lose his mind and be a lunatic.
Right. And they say it all the time. I'm so tired of it.
And it's like, if that's what he's going to be, and he's unhinged, and he's all this stuff, let him be a freaking crazy person. Not like the goofy crazy, like where he's dressing up as a freaking bear, and he's doing this, and he's doing that, and he's bringing out ice cream trucks, and doing all this crap. That's stupid.
Yeah.
Or
reunite the Shield and just let them
at this point, everybody bashed Roman this, Roman that. Roman's not the standalone. Right now, he's the only one really kind of
that's doing
anything.
His feud with Braun's been solid.
It's great. I think it's been a really good, solid feud. Both of them have been really good. You know me, I've always been a little bit less of a Roman basher than everybody else in the world. I've always kind of been a Roman apologist.
You have been.
But I understand people's, frustrations with him. But back to the original point, Dean was supposed to be, everybody thought when the heel turn happened in the Shield it would be Dean. Because he always seemed unhinged. And his Shield character was so much better than this character.
Yeah.
Because the Shield character actually kind of seemed like he was unhinged and might freaking kill somebody.
Even though he walked down the ramp, he was always like
he was twitching out and stuff.
Yeah, it was weird.
This dude is a freaking goof.
He just looks like a drunk. I mean, even his shirt now has that like Jack Daniels style logo on it. Like, he doesn't look like a lunatic fringe. He looks like an alcohol fringe.
This dude is just totally like, if I was him, and Stone Cold says this on his podcast all the time. Like, you can't be afraid. I feel like, honestly, and I have no idea if this is true. This is just a fan speaking. But I feel like so many guys nowadays are afraid to take charge of their character. And Stone Cold used to always say back in the day, like, if somebody didn't like something or didn't think it fit their character, they went right to Vince, because Vince is not like, because they said Vince would either sit down, listen, hear you out, and he'd either say, all right, let's change it. What do you want to do? Or he'd say no.
Yeah.
I mean, it all goes back when Dean was champion and he had that podcast with Stone Cold. Do you remember that? How awkward it got?
Yeah.
Because Stone Cold was getting pissed.
Kind of called him out, yeah.
Because he was like, dude, you're just stale. Like, you're really stale. And are you doing anything to work on that? And Dean was just kind of like nonchalant about the whole thing. And Stone Cold was getting hot.
I think that's part of it, though. I think Dean's just a little too nonchalant.
I just think
he's a super casual guy.
Like, I mean, is he just comfortable?
I think he is.
I just don't like.
Do you think it maybe has anything to do with the fact that his wife's on SmackDown? I think that was kind of purposeful. If you notice, like, every other husband and wife is together.
Are they married?
Yeah.
Oh.
Every other husband and wife is together with the exception of those two.
Wait, didn't they like get broken up because they didn't tell them they were getting
right,
married?
that's what I'm saying. Do you think that has something to do with it?
Like a spiteful little bitch. You didn't invite us to your wedding.
Do you think that is part of it?
I don't know, maybe. I mean, he doesn't really seem like that kind of guy, but
he is a lunatic.
I put him as my number one disappointment because I used to be such a big fan and I thought he had a really, really big future.
Right, his star's fallen.
And I just kind of see it falling apart. I mean, I'm bored by him.
Yeah, that's a great choice.
I'll still try to push through Seth Rollins segments. I'm at the point where I just don't care about Dean segments. I really don't.
It's sad.
Which sucks because I love The Miz and I love Maurice, but you know.
Oh, yeah. Making the happy faces happy there. Great choice. Hey, look, we did our first video.
There it is.
We did our first video.
It's going up on the tube.
It'll be up here, in just a quick second. Obviously, if you're watching this, it's already up. So, thanks again for watching. Thanks again for listening. Follow us on Twitter @NoCellRadio. Check us out on Facebook, www.facebook.com/NoCellRadio.
NoCellRadio.
And we'll see you guys next time. All right. See you.